The hospital room exploded in chaos as the surgeon's knife hovered midair, halted by a frantic nurse bursting through the doors. "Stop. She's not a match. There's a complication." But it was too late for secrets. The revelation that spilled out wasn't about blood types, but about the hidden life of the donor, Peyton Thompson, the black lesbian daughter adopted by the prominent white couple now staring in horror from the waiting room. Peyton had always known she was different, not just because of her skin color in the affluent suburb of Bethesda, Maryland, but because of the pull she felt toward girls from the moment she hit puberty. Her adoptive parents, Robert and Elaine Thompson, were pillars of the community. He a successful lawyer, she a devoted homemaker involved in church charities. They had rescued her from the foster system at age 5, giving her a life of privilege, but one laced with unspoken expectations. "You're our miracle," Elaine would say, hugging her tight, while Robert nodded approvingly, his eyes always scanning for any sign of deviation from the perfect family image. Peyton learned early to hide her crushes, burying them under straight-A report cards and soccer trophies. But in college at Georgetown University, everything changed. She met Jordan Hayes, a fiery journalism major with sharp wit and a laugh that lit up the room. Jordan was white, from a liberal family in New York, unapologetically out and proud. Their first kiss happened in the library stacks, surrounded by dusty books on civil rights. Ironic, Peyton thought later, as her own rights to love felt so contested. "This is real," Jordan whispered, and Peyton believed her, diving headfirst into a relationship that felt like coming home. Yet, back in Bethesda, she compartmentalized. Weekends with Jordan in D.C., weekdays as the dutiful daughter. The tension built slowly, like a storm gathering on the horizon. Robert's health had been declining for years. Kidney failure from undiagnosed diabetes. Dialysis kept him going, but he needed a transplant. Family testing revealed Peyton was a near-perfect match, despite no biological ties. "It's fate," Elaine declared, tears in her eyes. Peyton agreed to donate, seeing it as repayment for the life they'd given her. But Jordan was furious. "You're risking everything for people who don't even know the real you? What if they find out about us?" Peyton waved it off, insisting it was just a procedure, no big deal. Deep down, though, fear gnawed at her. What if the anesthesia loosened her tongue? What if hospital forms asked questions she couldn't dodge? As surgery day approached, Peyton's internal conflict raged. She loved her parents, but their casual homophobia, Robert's jokes about those people at pride parades, Elaine's insistence on setting her up with nice boys from church, made coming out impossible. Jordan pushed for honesty. "If you're giving a kidney, they owe you the truth." In a moment of defiance, Peyton proposed to Jordan in a quiet park, slipping a simple ring on her finger. They eloped in a courthouse ceremony, vowing to keep it secret until after the surgery. "This is our armor," Jordan said. But secrets have a way of unraveling. The night before the operation, Peyton couldn't sleep. She paced her childhood bedroom, staring at family photos where she always stood a little apart. Was this donation an act of love or obligation? The moral quandary twisted her gut. Withhold the truth and live a lie, or reveal it and risk rejection. She chose silence, but fate had other plans. In the pre-op room, a routine question about marital status slipped out. "Any recent changes?" Peyton hesitated, then whispered, "I'm married. To a woman." The nurse noted it, but in the chaos of the day, it got buried in paperwork. Until it didn't. When the complication arose, a minor allergy to anesthesia that required spousal consent for alternatives, the hospital called Jordan, listed as emergency contact. Jordan rushed in, her presence alone enough to raise eyebrows. But when she signed as wife, the Thompsons overheard from the hallway. Robert, already weak, clutched his chest. Elaine's face drained of color. "What is this?" she demanded. Peyton, groggy from sedatives, could only mumble apologies as the room spun. The surgery was delayed, but the damage was done. Word spread like wildfire through the hospital staff, then to friends, then to the media. A black adoptee donating to her white father, only for her secret lesbian marriage to explode the facade of the perfect American family. Reporters camped outside, hungry for the drama. Peyton woke to headlines. Adopted daughter's hidden life halts transplant. The nation tuned in, debating adoption, race, sexuality, and family loyalty. For Peyton, it was just the beginning of the storm. She confronted her parents in the sterile waiting area, Jordan by her side. "I love her," Peyton said, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Robert's eyes flashed with betrayal. "After everything we've done? You lied to us, hide this abomination." Elaine sobbed, caught between love for her daughter and the conservative values she'd clung to. Peyton felt the weight of her choice. The donation now tainted by truth. Would they even accept her kidney now? The moral lines blurred. Was honesty worth the pain? As days turned to weeks, the family fractured. Robert refused visitors, his health deteriorating without the transplant. Elaine oscillated between anger and pleas for Peyton to fix this. Jordan urged Peyton to walk away, but guilt anchored her. Society's gaze amplified everything. Online forums dissected her life, some calling her brave, others a traitor. Peyton questioned every decision. Adopting the role of perfect daughter, falling in love, eloping, donating. Each choice exacted a price, and she was paying dearly. The media frenzy escalated, turning the Thompsons' quiet suburban life into a spectacle. Talk shows debated the ethics. Should adoptive parents expect full disclosure from their children? Was Peyton's secrecy a betrayal or self-preservation? Peyton scrolled through comments on her phone, hidden in a hotel room with Jordan. "Ungrateful," one said. "Hero," another countered. The racial undertone stung. Whispers that her blackness made her unfit for the white family narrative. Jordan held her tight. "We don't owe them our story." But Peyton felt the pull of duty, the ingrained sense of owing her life to the Thompsons. Robert's condition worsened, forcing a decision. Doctors pressed for the transplant, but he balked at accepting from someone living in sin. Elaine mediated, her face lined with exhaustion. In a tense family meeting at the hospital, Peyton laid it bare. "I didn't choose to be gay, but I chose to love Jordan. And I choose to save you, Dad." Robert's silence was deafening. Finally, he nodded, but his eyes held resentment. The surgery proceeded, but the incision went deeper than flesh. Post-op, Peyton recovered in a separate room, her body aching from the loss of a kidney. Jordan was her rock, smuggling in comfort food and whispered encouragements. But visits from Elaine were strained. "Why didn't you tell us?" Elaine asked, voice cracking. Peyton explained the fear of rejection, of losing the only family she knew. Elaine admitted her own biases, shaped by a strict upbringing. "I thought I was open-minded adopting you. But this. It's hard." The conversation unearthed buried tensions. Robert's subtle racism and jokes about urban kids. Elaine's pressure for Peyton to fit in. Peyton realized her silence had been a shield, but also a cage. As Peyton healed, societal pressure mounted. A conservative group picketed the hospital, signs reading "Family Values First." Counter-protesters waved rainbow flags, chanting for LGBTQ rights. Peyton's story became a flashpoint in the culture wars, with politicians weighing in. She received interview requests but declined, focusing on mending fences. Yet betrayal lurked. Jordan discovered Elaine had confided in church friends, who leaked details to the press. "They twisted everything," Jordan fumed. Peyton confronted Elaine, the accusation hanging heavy. "You exposed us further. Was that your revenge?" Elaine denied intent, but the trust cracked. The moral dilemmas piled up. Peyton grappled with forgiveness. Could she pardon her parents' prejudices when they'd given her so much? Jordan pushed back. Love isn't conditional on sacrifice. In therapy sessions mandated by the hospital's ethics board, Peyton unpacked her adoption trauma. The sense of not belonging, amplified by her sexuality. The therapist probed, "What price are you willing to pay for acceptance?" Peyton didn't know. Back home, the house felt like a battlefield. Robert, homebound and recovering, avoided eye contact. Conversations were clipped, focused on meds and meals. One night over dinner it erupted. "How could you marry without telling us?" Robert demanded. Peyton countered. "How could I, when you've made it clear you disapprove?" The argument unearthed old wounds. Robert's regret over not having biological kids. Elaine's fear of scandal. Peyton stormed out, seeking solace with Jordan. But even there, strain showed. Jordan resented the family's pull on Peyton. Choose us or them. Peyton's decision came in a moment of clarity. She drafted a public statement, not for fame, but for closure. Released via a neutral outlet, it detailed her journey. From foster care to adoption, discovery of self to the surgery betrayal. Love shouldn't require hiding, she wrote. The response was mixed. Support from LGBTQ communities, backlash from traditionalists. Her parents read it in silence, the words a mirror to their flaws. The fallout rippled. Friends distanced themselves from the Thompsons. Church members whispered. Elaine joined a support group for parents of LGBTQ kids, a tentative step toward change. Robert grumbled but attended one session, his pride cracking under health's fragility. Peyton visited sporadically, boundaries firm. The price of her truth: a kidney, family harmony, privacy. But in exchange, authenticity. Yet shadows lingered. An anonymous tip to the media revealed Jordan's past. A youthful arrest for protesting spun as radical activism. Accusations flew. Was the marriage a political statement? Peyton defended fiercely, but doubt seeped in. Had Jordan pushed too hard? The relationship strained under scrutiny. In quiet moments, Peyton questioned her choices. Eloping in secret, bold or reckless. Donating despite deceit, selfless or masochistic. Each decision carried weight, and the scales tipped unpredictably. As months passed, the national spotlight dimmed, but personal storms raged. Peyton returned to work as a social worker, helping foster kids like her former self. The irony wasn't lost on her. Advocating for authenticity while her own life was a tangle of half-truths. Jordan pursued her journalism career, writing pieces on LGBTQ adoption rights, drawing from their ordeal. But resentment brewed. Your family still comes first, Jordan accused during a late-night fight. Peyton denied it, but actions spoke louder. Skipped dates to check on Robert, endless calls with Elaine. A new conflict arose when Robert's recovery hit a snag. Infection risking the new kidney. Doctors blamed stress, pointing to family discord. Peyton felt responsible, her donation now a potential failure. In the ER, she faced him alone. "Dad, we need to talk." Robert, pale and vulnerable, finally opened up. "I thought adopting you would complete us. But I wasn't prepared for this." His admission of fear, of difference, of change, humanized him. Peyton shared her pain. The isolation of hiding, the joy of loving Jordan. Tears flowed, a bridge tentatively built. But mending required more than words. Elaine's transformation was slower, marked by missteps. She invited Jordan to dinner, an olive branch. The evening started cordially, but veered when Elaine suggested counseling to fix things. Jordan exploded. "Fix what? Us." Peyton mediated, but the damage lingered. Later, alone with Elaine, Peyton probed. "Why can't you accept us?" Elaine confessed societal pressures, fear of judgment from friends, church. "I love you, but this goes against everything I believe." The moral clash. Faith versus family love. Peyton left feeling torn. Empathy for her mother's struggle, anger at its cost. Society's echo chamber amplified the drama. A documentary crew approached, promising fair portrayal. Peyton agreed, hoping to control the narrative. Filming unearthed raw emotions. Interviews with foster system workers highlighting racial biases in adoption. Experts on LGBTQ mental health. But the crew pushed for sensationalism, focusing on the betrayal. Jordan warned against it, but Peyton persisted, driven by a need to validate her choices. The documentary aired, reigniting debate. Viewers split. Some praised Peyton's courage, others decried her ingratitude. Personal betrayals deepened. A close friend from college, privy to early secrets, sold stories to tabloids. Peyton always hid her true self, the quotes read. Trust shattered. Peyton withdrew, questioning alliances. Jordan stood firm, but even she faltered when job offers came with strings. Exploit the story or lose out. This is our life, not content, Peyton argued. The pressure tested their marriage. Whispered doubts, sleepless nights. Was their love strong enough to withstand the fallout? In a pivotal moment, Peyton attended a pride event, her first public outing as married. Strangers cheered her story, but anonymity was gone. Paparazzi snapped photos, twisting normalcy into scandal. Back home, Robert watched the news, his expression softening. He called Peyton. I saw you. You looked happy. A small victory, but costly. The event led to doxing, hate mail. Peyton fortified her resolve, but the toll mounted. Anxiety attacks, therapy bills. Elaine's awakening came unexpectedly. Reading online forums, she encountered stories like Peyton's, parents rejecting kids, leading to tragedy. Shaken, she confronted Robert. We almost lost her. Their marriage strained under the weight, arguments echoing through the house. Elaine chose sides, attending a PFLAG meeting alone. Returning, she hugged Peyton fiercely. I'm trying. The gesture healed some wounds, but scars remained. Peyton's internal battle peaked. In journal entries, she weighed decisions. Donating, an act of love or proof of worth. Coming out via crisis. Accidental bravery or forced hand. Each choice demanded sacrifice. Health for family, privacy for truth. Jordan proposed moving away, starting fresh. New York like my roots. Peyton hesitated, tied to Bethesda's ghosts. The dilemma, loyalty to past or future. As tensions simmered, a new twist emerged. Robert's firm faced backlash, clients fleeing due to association with controversy. He blamed Peyton indirectly, resentment resurfacing. In a heated call, he accused, "Your choices are ruining us." Peyton fired back, "Your prejudices started this." The exchange severed ties temporarily, Elaine caught in crossfire. Society watched, judging. Who was right? The family or the individual? Isolation set in as Peyton navigated the aftermath. Work became sanctuary, but even there, colleagues whispered. A promotion dangled, then withdrawn. Image concerns. Discrimination's sting reinforced her fight. Jordan's career boomed paradoxically, her articles gaining traction. Envy crept in, unspoken. I'm proud, Peyton said, but inside imbalance festered. Their marriage, once a haven, now a pressure cooker. Reconciliation attempts faltered. A family therapy session devolved into accusations. Robert defended his views. I was raised this way. Peyton challenged. And I was raised by you. Yet I chose differently. The therapist highlighted cycles, generational trauma, adoption's complexities. Elaine shared her own secret. A gay sibling disowned by her parents. I didn't fight then. I won't repeat it. Vulnerability bridged gaps, but progress was halting. Societal repercussions broadened. Peyton's story inspired legislation pushes for LGBTQ protections in adoption. She testified before a congressional subcommittee, voice steady. Families aren't defined by blood or norms but love. Applause followed, but so did threats. Security became necessary, freedom curtailed. The price of visibility, safety for advocacy. Betrayal struck again from within. Jordan, overwhelmed, confided in a colleague who twisted her words into an op-ed. Living in the shadow of my wife's drama. Peyton read it in horror. Details of private fights exposed. How could you, she demanded. Jordan apologized, citing stress. Trust fractured. They separated temporarily. Alone in a rented apartment, Peyton reflected on sacrifices. Her kidney for family, her privacy for love. Was Jordan worth the pain? Moral quandaries intensified. In solitude, Peyton pondered ethics. Is forgiveness obligatory? Does blood, or adoption, demand loyalty? She volunteered at an LGBTQ youth center, stories mirroring hers fueling resolve. One teen's suicide attempt shook her, a reminder of stakes. Your story saved me, the kid said later. Impact outweighed cost, but barely. Reunion with Jordan came after weeks of radio silence. They met in a neutral cafe, tears and truth spilling. I felt invisible, Jordan admitted. Peyton confessed her fears, losing everyone. They recommitted, boundaries redrawn. No more secrets. The mending was fragile, built on shared trauma. Back with the Thompsons, tentative peace emerged. Robert apologized haltingly. I was wrong to judge. Elaine embraced Jordan at a family barbecue, small talk flowing. But undercurrents remained. Awkward silences, avoided topics. Peyton accepted imperfection, the price of progress. The documentary's extended cut revealed manipulations. Edited quotes, omitted context. Peyton sued for defamation. A grueling process exposing more vulnerabilities. Courtrooms became battlegrounds, ethics on trial. Truth versus sensationalism. She won a settlement, but reputation lingered tarnished. As life normalized, Peyton wrote a memoir, channeling pain into purpose. Publishers clamored, but she chose indie, control over narrative. Launch events drew crowds, questions probing. Was it worth it? Peyton paused, weighing. The donation saved Robert, but cost family unity. Truth freed her, but invited chaos. Each decision a double-edged sword. Years blurred, but scars endured. Peyton and Jordan built a life in D.C., away from Bethesda's shadows. Careers flourished. Peyton leading adoption reforms, Jordan editing a progressive news site. Their marriage strengthened through counseling, honesty the cornerstone. But echoes of betrayal surfaced in quiet moments. A news clip, a family call. Robert's health stabilized, but age caught up. A heart scare reunited them. In the hospital, he grasped Peyton's hand. Thank you for the kidney, and for teaching me. Tears unspoken mended what words couldn't. Elaine, now an advocate in her church, pushed for inclusive policies. Change came slow, but real. Societal shifts followed. Peyton's testimony influenced bills passing, protecting LGBTQ adoptees. Pride parades featured her story, symbols of progress. But backlash persisted. Conservative media vilified her as agenda pusher. Threats necessitated bodyguards, freedom's cost. A new conflict arose. Jordan wanted kids. Adoption discussions revived traumas. What if our child faces what I did? Peyton worried. They navigated agencies, biases evident. Interracial, same-sex couples scrutinized. Moral debates. Bring a child into a judgmental world? They proceeded, adopting a biracial girl named Maya. Joy mixed with fear, the cycle continuing. Parenting tested resolves. Maya's questions about heritage probed Peyton's past. Why did Grandma and Grandpa act weird at first? Honesty prevailed, lessons in resilience. But family visits revealed lingering tensions. Robert's occasional slips, Elaine's overcompensation. Peyton enforced boundaries, protecting her new family. Betrayal's ghost returned via a tell-all book from the documentary producer, alleging fabrications. Peyton countered publicly, debates reigniting. Truth matters, she stated. The ordeal strained her marriage again. Jordan weary of spotlights. When does it end? Compromise, low profiles, selective engagements. Internal awakenings deepened. Peyton mentored young LGBTQ folks sharing. Choices define us, but so do consequences. One mentee's coming out disaster mirrored hers, prompting reflection. Had she modeled wisely? Doubt lingered, but growth evident. As Maya grew, societal pressures evolved. School bullies targeted her two moms, echoing Peyton's youth. Advocacy intensified, PTA battles fought. The price? Time from family, emotional drain. Jordan supported, but resentment simmered. You're saving the world, but what about us? Balance eluded. A climactic confrontation with Robert sealed evolutions. Over coffee, he confessed. I feared losing you to that life. But I lost you by not accepting. Peyton forgave, closure bittersweet. The family, fractured then forged anew, stood testament to change's cost. With time, harmony settled uneasily. Holidays blended traditions, laughter tentative but genuine. Maya thrived, her innocence a balm. Peyton watched her play, pondering legacies. What prices had she paid for this piece? A kidney, privacy, innocence. Worth it? Debatable. Jordan's promotion took them to New York, fresh starts. Distance from Bethesda allowed breathing room, but calls maintained ties. Robert's memoir, co-authored with Peyton, detailed their journey, raw, unfiltered. Sales soared, proceeds to charities. Society responded. Some hailed reconciliation, others critiqued as performative. Final awakenings came in quiet. Peyton, reflecting on her path, recognized patterns. Hiding for acceptance, revealing for freedom. Each decision a moral tightrope. Right versus wrong blurred by context. Jordan echoed. We survived because we chose love. The story's end circled back to the hospital in memory. What if she'd stayed silent? A life of lies, perhaps intact family. But authenticities pull one out. Society debated still. Heroism or selfishness? In the end, was Peyton's revelation during her father's crisis an act of courage that saved more than a life, or a selfish betrayal that shattered a family for personal gain?